Thanks for being with us tonight. We begin with a breaking news update. We're getting our first look at the moments Finlay police officers came face to face with a man pointing a gun at them. Footage showed 4 officers responding to a call after a caller told them to hurry for a possible shooting at a home on Cherry Lane. After arriving, 2 officers approached the home where 90-year-old Robert Norton pointed a gun through a crack in the door at one of the 2 officers on the porch. After seeing this, both officers fired 7 total shots through the glass door, hitting and killing Norton. But police discovered it was a BB gun that looked similar to a handgun. Officers also said Norton's longtime wife recently passed away and his home sat vacant for some time before the incident. The Finlay police chief says those facts led the department to believe this could be the first case of suicide by cop in department history.
The male suspect has made some pretty poor decision that ended up costing his life. We called in and then presented a potentially deadly weapon immediately upon the arrival towards our officers. I have reached out to the family members of the deceased to extend my condolences on behalf of the department for their loss of the life.
Ohio BCI is leading the investigation, which could take upwards of 60 days. The 4 officers involved were on paid leave for the time being. The 75-year-old man who was injured in a reported garage explosion in Fostoria has died. Fire officials say it happened just after 4 p.m. on South Wood Street. When firefighters arrived, they found a 75-year-old man inside the detached garage. He was taken to the hospital where he later died. We're told the fire was only in the garage and was quickly contained. No one else was hurt. We're still waiting to hear the cause of the fire. Well, more and more people are getting hurt at the Toledo Jeep assembly complex in North Toledo. That's according to a leaked internal memo, which states the plant is now responsible for 30% of all injuries reported across all of Stellantis North America's 75 plants. And tonight, a plant worker is coming forward saying it's because they're being overworked, putting in 10-hour days, 6 to 7 days a week. Michael Sandlin has more tonight.
And I do really enjoy telling people where I work, up until recently where I feel like it's just become a bit much, the conditions we're dealing with.
This man tells us he's worked at Stellantis for a decade, and he says he loves building Jeeps, but he hates seeing himself and his coworkers pushed to the brink, thanks to a clause in their contract that allows Stellantis to keep them for extended hours.
On a weekly basis, we're being forced a 10th hour of overtime some days, being forced Saturdays, Sundays.
So what's the longest stretch of time you've worked straight?
Roughly 3.5 weeks straight.
This worker says while activating the clause is valid, the situation is now getting to the point where safety seems to be at risk. This leaked internal memo, allegedly posted inside the plant, says the Toledo complex is now responsible for a significant portion of Stellantis' injury claims across the entire country over the past 10 weeks, and encourages employees to be more careful. But this worker says, when you're exhausted, you're careless.
I feel like they fail to see the direct correlation between the spike in injuries when emergency status started versus prior, like workers' fatigue can lead to missed operations or failure to put safety glasses on and can cause unsafe acts. And I feel like both the union and the company are kind of ignoring the fact that workers are burnt out. People need time off. People need to see their family. People need to see their friends. People want to know that they have a day. They want to look forward to that weekend off or just one day off, and it's just not happening.
Michael Sandlin is in studio with us tonight. Michael, emergency status is part of an approved part of these workers' contracts. So why is he saying he's getting pushed too far?
Well, Kaylee, it is the kind of situation where emergency status is part of the contract, but this guy says that Stellantis is basically abusing the language. They're not only just using this to try to get up to speed when it comes to the amount of vehicles they're making, he's now saying they're using it to try to hit new goals and to make more vehicles than they ever have before. He showed me this chart that they have inside the building. It's like picture a big thermostat, right? Mm-hmm. And they have a goal of 5,000 cars. Now, this has been over 10 weeks, so imagine making 5,000 cars. Right now, they're up to about 2,000 right now, and he says that's already almost killed them. So they have 3,000 more to go before the end of the year, and he's saying that workers are just absolutely burnt out.
Is the 2,000 cars so far this year, or how long is it taking them to get to those 2,000?
Oh, that's just in 10 weeks.
Oh, that's been in 10 weeks?
Yeah.
Okay. So then they have to hit 5,000 by the end of the year.
Apparently, that's according to the little graphic that he showed me that they have inside their workstation. But yeah, that seems to be the case.
Okay.
Now, go ahead, please.
So I was going to say, you reached out to the UAW and to Stellantis. What did they tell you?
Yeah, so I reached out to UAW Local 12, the union inside the assembly complex. Brian Sims, their president, while he did confirm that they are on this emergency status, he respectfully declined to speak at all. And then I reached out to Stellantis. I spoke to one of their representatives, and they said they'll look into it, but that was the end of the conversation. We really haven't been able to pick up since then. And as of this point, I mean, the only thing I know is these workers are struggling, and like the guy said in the package, he feels like both the union and the company are really just not paying attention.
What is the feeling you got from these workers? And obviously they say that they're a little overworked here and maybe stressed out, but what's the feeling that you got?
I mean, he sounded exhausted. Just talking to him, he said, hey, I've burned all my vacation time just in this stretch because I'm trying to have my weekend again. I want to see my family. I want to have a chance just to catch up on chores. He said for the people that have already used their vacation time, they've been working nonstop since this started. Maybe they're getting one day off, maybe they haven't. He told me there's one department where the people there have had one day off since this first started. So that's 10 weeks with only one day off. So these people are probably pretty much down to the bone in terms of how they're feeling. Pretty ragged, Kaylee.
All right, thanks, Michael. Thanks for joining us here tonight. We are following stories making nationwide headlines. President Trump says he's terminating trade talks with Canada over an anti-tariff ad paid for by Ontario, which uses clips from an address by the late President Ronald Reagan. The Reagan Foundation says the ad misrepresented the speech, and President Trump accuses Canada of trying to interfere with the upcoming Supreme Court case on tariffs. President Trump is on his way to Asia for key economic summits. President Trump is also planning to meet with the Chinese president amid ongoing trade tensions between the world's two largest economies. It's day 24 of the government shutdown, and it's looking like it will continue on for at least several more days. Today was supposed to be payday for many federal employees. Instead, some received no pay. That includes essential workers still on the job without pay, like TSA officers and air traffic controllers. There are no talks scheduled between the sides anytime soon, with the Senate adjourned for the weekend. A delayed consumer price index for September was released today, and it shows that inflation is back up to 3% year over year in September. We haven't seen that number since January. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, gasoline and groceries are driving inflation. Coffee peaked up to nearly 19% in September in the midst of ongoing climate change, supply chain issues, and tariffs. The spice industry is also expected to feel the pinch. Most spices used in the U.S. are largely sourced elsewhere. Social Security benefits are going up slightly next year, with recipients getting 2.8% more per month. Despite the increase, a lot of seniors say the yearly adjustments haven't kept up with their rising costs. Next year's increase is higher than 2.5% cost of living adjustment beneficiaries got this year. The annual adjustment is based on inflation. Still to come, a historical cemetery in North Carolina is more than 200 years old, holding memories, secrets, and ghosts.
And grab the heavier jacket because we have a freeze warning in effect. I'm going to preview those low temperatures down in the 30s, and also let's look ahead to that Halloween forecast coming up next.
We have the latest on what's trending on social media. Here's Kaylee Kirby on our TikTok page.
If you've been dreading your Thanksgiving grocery bill, this might surprise you. Your turkey is getting more expensive, but your whole meal might not be. Wholesale turkey prices are expected to jump 40% this year compared to last. That's because of smaller flocks and disease challenges. But grocery stores are dropping the prices for their Thanksgiving meal deals. Check this out. Walmart's 2025 basket, which serves 10 people, is less than $4 a person, and the turkey is at 97 cents a pound. And then there's Aldi. You can get a full meal kit that serves 10 people at just under $40. No membership needed. So now you're probably like, Kaylee, how do both of those things happen at once? A more expensive turkey, but a cheaper meal deal? Well, retailers are trying to promote bundles and specials even as supplies tighten. Bottom line, if you're the one planning or cooking the holiday meal this year, now may be a smart time to lock in on a turkey or get one of those bundles.
Make sure you're following WTOL 11 on your favorite social media platform to stay up to date. Southwest Airlines is offering customers a chance to surf the net while soaring the sky. Free in-flight Wi-Fi is being offered for passengers who are Rapid Rewards members. This comes as Southwest is making major changes to its operations, including the introduction of new fare tiers and checked bag fees. Next year, it plans to unveil assigned seating. Well, Crocs and singer T-Pain have teamed up for a throwback collaboration with their new leopard knee-high boot. Crocs says the boots with the fur are one of a kind with new design elements, including a backstrap clip and metal loop rivet, offering fans new opportunities for personalization. You can buy the limited edition boots for $160 online.
Oh, the price did not get low.
Our producer is talking about
Singing those lyrics.
Yes,
yep.
yeah. Not really my style.
No, I don't think I could rock them either.
No, but we might need some fur and some extra layers here in the coming days, right?
Yeah, the baggy sweatpants and the Reebok,
no apple
something
bottom
like that.
jeans.
Reeboks
Yeah.
with this, that might be in the wardrobe for this weekend. Definitely the heavier jacket, Kaylee, with the cooler temperatures coming our way. So let's jump into your forecast that is going to feature a little bit of frost and the potential for the first widespread freeze of the autumn season. We're expecting frosty weather into the start of your Saturday. Those lows are going to dip down to the lower 30s. So if you have any plans that you want to salvage that could be affected by that, cover them up before bed this evening. There are currently freeze warnings in effect for all of our northwest Ohio counties, and there is the potential for those temperatures to be dipping down to the lower 30s. Current temperature map does show you most spots around 50, but north and northwest it is a little bit cooler with those temperatures that have dropped back into the 40s. Still seeing some stubborn cloud cover on satellite right now, but the skies are expected to gradually clear on out as sunshine returns into the weekend. Temperature-wise, starting off the day with the exception of the lakeshore, everybody's going to be feeling that chill tomorrow morning with those temps in the low to mid 30s, and into the afternoon we are looking at temperatures topping out in the mid 50s. So a little cool, but still nice with the brighter skies. So what about Sunday? There could be some areas of frost, but I'm not expecting a widespread freeze, and certainly no worries of 32-degree temperatures on Sunday. The clouds clear out. All those showers are history, so there's no worries of any raindrops this weekend, and the hour by hour does show you increasing sunshine. Should be a really nice Saturday afternoon, but brace yourself for that cold morning as you're heading out for your walk. Into the afternoon, highs around 55, calm and pleasant. The winds are going to be much more tame compared to the breezy feel that we've had the last couple of days, and wind speeds are generally going to be pretty light, under about 5 miles an hour. So weather impacts that we're tracking this weekend, first and foremost is going to be that frost that is likely and the potential for a freeze. Again, cover up any outdoor plants, although it's not quite going to be cold enough to worry about those pipes freezing over. Into the weekend, chilly but brighter, partly sunny and dry both days. And if you're looking forward to trick-or-treating and the Halloween forecast, I am expecting likely dry conditions but cooler, with temperatures expected to be in the lower 50s for those trick-or-treat plans. Overall, the long-range outlook staying on the chillier side for much of the Atlantic seaboard and the Ohio Valley region, so we are expecting slightly below average conditions in the temperature department. Bottom line, frost and freeze possible this weekend. The breeze is going to be back early next week, and and most of the forecast is going to be drier and quieter after last week. There is a slight chance for some showers on Wednesday. It is going to be breezy through midweek, and the latter half of the work week, well, Halloween is going to be dry as of now. And don't forget, we fall back an hour into next weekend with dry conditions, but a little more autumn cloud cover, turning over those calendars into November. Kaylee?
Well, cemeteries are where stories are laid to rest, but sometimes those stories don't stay buried. In High Point, North Carolina, one legend is rising from the pages of history. They call her the Witch of Inverness.
There's something about walking through an old cemetery. You can almost feel the history here. But some stories don't rest as easily as the ones that are on these stones. They live on in local legend. And that's precisely where I began my story. If cemeteries are where stories sleep, libraries are where they wake.
And you can see there is a lot there.
Tucked between records and brittle newspaper pages are the breadcrumbs of a community's past. Folklore, ghost stories, legends, they don't just haunt homes, they haunt history.
This is just one more means by which people ascribe meaning to the past. It's not a matter of fact in this case, it's a matter of significance.
It was here in a folder marked File Legends that I stumbled across familiar names like Lydia and the Little Red Man, but one clipping caught my eye. Ghost acts like witch.
The Witch of Inverness is a High Point folklore that has mostly been forgotten.
Dan Sellers is an author and storyteller, someone who spent years digging up North Carolina's haunted history, including the history of Jane Grant Mann.
Born December 25th, Christmas of 1818, in Inverness, Scotland, and died 1895.
Scottish immigrant Jane and her husband Charles, a German immigrant, had a house on the block of 400 Main Street in the late 1800s.
She had a beautiful garden, which she kept immaculate. When she passed away, folks in the neighborhood continued to see her maintaining the garden, taking care of it. They started referring to her as the Witch of Inverness.
Today, that spot is nothing more than a parking lot for the First Baptist Church. But over the years, the land has changed hands again and again.
What all happened inside the house with people who moved in afterwards, I have no idea. None of that was really recorded, but all we know are the people who did move in didn't last very long.
So whether the ghost exists or not, the legacy lives on.
These are stories about who we are and who we were.
Like moss on an old headstone,
if we don't keep telling them,
folk tales grow quietly.
They're going to be gone.
And sometimes, like this one, they refuse to die.
Well, still to come, changes could be coming to Maumee when it comes to a trash pickup. We'll have the details in just a minute. Plus, the city of Toledo kicking off its Healthy Food Small Market program. What you need to know straight ahead. Thanks for being here with us on WTOL 11 Plus. Now we have some local stories we're tracking for you tonight. The city of Maumee wants to hear from people about trash and recycling. Right now, the average person in the city pays at least $200 per year for trash collection. We're told that cost will likely go up, though, next August when the city signs a new contract.
I think they should get the opinions of residents and also, negotiate contracts with other agencies. I mean, I don't think that we should just sit on our laurels and utilize Republic Services without getting bids from other trash pickup organizations.
It also allows us to kind of geographically locate the information as well. So it's open for a month, and we ask that all the residents go and fill it out so we can have the best information possible.
City officials say they will evaluate the next provider and it'll be settled in contract negotiations. The Toledo-Lucas County Health Department, in partnership with the City of Toledo, are launching the kickoff of the Healthy Food Small Market program. The initiative partners with small, locally owned markets to make fresh, affordable foods more accessible to families. It's designed to target neighborhoods where healthy options are limited. Organizers call it a win for families and businesses, saying participating stores are already seeing success.
We've had a lot of people using the program that have said that it really helps them get through each month when they're a little low on funds at the end of the month or with the SNAP card. That extra, that little extra bit from the Produce Perks really gets them through it.
The program is supported by city ARPA funds and the Ohio Department of Health. Oregon, Middletown Township, Richfield Township, Dundee, Maumee. At one point the last few weeks, they've all been linked to data centers. Supporters say Northwest Ohio is a prime spot for these facilities because of access to existing fiber optics, water, and natural gas. Others say they'll crush the grid and raise bills. This week on Leading Edge, Sylvania Mayor and energy consultant Mark Fry says communities where these things could go stand to gain substantially.
So there's going to be a long cycle of hundreds and hundreds, potentially 2,000 jobs just with the construction of these very large facilities. But the most important piece of this puzzle that I think gets lost is the property tax revenue, the payment in lieu of taxes, which are typically going to be negotiated for a facility of this magnitude. This is a multi-billion dollar, with a B, not million, billion-dollar facility that is going to have these big, lots and lots of computer chips in it, but the building itself may cost, when they're finished with all the phases, as much as $2 billion worth of infrastructure.
Oregon's mayor has said they're looking at $20 million of revenue annually if this does happen. It's an education this week on technology, our resources and potential on this week's Leading Edge. The show drops on all WTOL 11 platforms this Sunday. Former Oregon Mayor Marge Brown is being honored over the weekend. A funeral procession through the city is happening tomorrow morning. The city of Oregon says the procession will pause in front of the Oregon Municipal Complex and Clay High School in honor of her service to the community. It's set to start at 8:30 tomorrow morning. Soccer, football, tennis, baseball, we've got it all on the leaderboard this week.
Welcome back. We are now bringing to the WTOL 11 Leaderboard Poll of the Week. Last week, we asked you, what is your favorite time of the day for attending football games? We are talking high school, college, and NFL. We got it all.
And your choices were those early games at noon or 1, middle of the day games at 3 or 4, or I think your preference, those nighttime games under the lights at 7 and 8, and the results are in.
And with a whopping 53% of the votes, the winner was those primetime games at night. I am a fan of that myself. As she mentioned, second place was a tie between the early day and the midday action, with both getting just under 25% of the votes.
Oh, we got a tie for that.
Yeah, obviously, a little tie there at the end. But I mean, there's nothing better than a night game, in my opinion. One, you get to tailgate all day long. You get to enjoy the festivities before you go into the game. And it just, under the lights, it's just a different feel.
For me, nothing beats a brat for breakfast. Washed down with some beer at 6 a.m. No, I'm kidding. When I think college football, I think a noon kick. It just gets your day going. It sets the tone for the day, especially if it's good weather out. But yeah, if we're talking high school, Friday night lights, there's nothing that beats that nostalgic feeling, whether you're in high school or you've graduated and your alumni coming back. And then I guess primetime NFL games. I mean, that's great. But if you're playing the ones that are closest to us, that's Lion. So you can't tell if it's day or night because it's in a dome. So I stick with college football for noon. I understand the importance of
here's
prime
the one
time.
thing I'll say about the noon kickoff. At least you get to get done early, so you get to have the rest of your day plans, however you want to celebrate. That 3:30, 4 o'clock window, you're kind of stuck in the middle. Like you still have to get up early, and then you kind of are coming home late. So there's kind of a weird.
Yeah, it was tied and at the same level as the other one. Because I agree, you can at least with the two options at the beginning or the end, you can dictate the rest of your day.
Right.
But when that kind of becomes the sole focus of your day. But if you do it right. At noon kick, that should be the only thing you do that day. So you're gonna be a little tired.
So I do want to clarify something. So you said something. If you have a noon football kick, or you have a football game at noon, you said you're getting up at 6 a.m. to eat.
If it is an Arizona State game and I am a current student, I'm up at 6 a.m.
All right.
Luckily, that was never the case.
know.
We never had noon kicks. We weren't that important when I was in college. But yes, I would do anything for my Devils, and I'm sure all the alumni out there would do too. We see Ohio State all the time in Columbus too. So
yeah, they probably don't sleep on Fridays anyway.
Correct. Well, that'll bring us to this week's Leaderboard poll of the week. This week, we're talking local mascots.
Yeah, Northwest Ohio is home to some of the most iconic mascot duos, but which one is your favorite?
Your choices are Muddy and Madonna, the Mud Hens, Spike and Catrick from the Walleye, Freddie and Frida, Falcon, or Rocky and Roxy, Rockets. To vote, simply scan the QR code on your screen right now or head to WTOL11.com and head to the sports section. As always, we'll be back here next week to break down the results.
You can watch the full episode of the Leaderboard next on WTOL 11+.
I think I'm going to side with Noelle on this one. There's nothing better than a noon kickoff, especially when the weather cooperates.
When it's warm.
Oh, yeah.
It is a warm noon kickoff game.
Yeah, some of those early season games.
Yeah, I'm waking up with Noelle at 6 a.m.
Yeah, you know, for those high school games, hard to believe we're already at the end of the regular season. And I know we've been talking about a chilly big board Friday. One of those you can maybe see your breath after it gets dark outside. And it's going to be even colder tomorrow morning, Kaylee. So let's talk that forecast that is going to bring us our first freeze of the season. For many, you're going to wake up to the coldest temperatures of the fall season so far Saturday morning, and those lows may dip down to about 32. So if you have any outdoor plants that you want to salvage, cover those up before bed tonight. Sunday's going to be a frosty start to the day, but not quite as cold. The afternoons, both weekend days, do look nice with those temps in the mid-50s. It's likely to stay on the cooler side into the start of the work week, but that breeze is going to be back Tuesday and Wednesday. There could be a couple spotty showers to go along with it, but honestly, no widespread or soaking rainfall with this. Just some hit or miss on and off rain chances. Looking ahead towards Halloween, dry weather for trick-or-treaters and those Halloween parties next Friday night. 52 degrees, the high temperature, so could be dipping back into the 40s by the end of the evening. And as we turn over the calendars into November, likely to stay on the chilly side. And don't forget, we fall back next Sunday, so you may get an extra hour of sleep, but those evenings are going to be a lot darker as we round the corner into November. I feel like football season's going by fast, Kaylee, and hard to believe it's almost November as well.
I know. I'm shooting big board, and I brought some leggings, some jeans, some long sleeves, a hoodie, all
Definitely
the layers.
stay warm.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us here on WTOL 11+. We'll see you tonight at 11 o'clock for Big Board Friday.